welcome all of you, all of our Ziglar friends and family and fans. And I just want to see, what are you guys up to? Where are you watching us from? We've got a great opportunity tonight to talk with our partner and friend and mentor, Kevin Harrington. And I'm Evan Desjardins. I'm the president here at Ziglar. And Kevin, it is just such an honor and a pleasure to have you on tonight.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that, Evan. We've got an exciting couple days. It's been an exciting 3 or 4 months, I think, putting it all together, and now it's coming to a nice culmination of success. So it's always good to bear the fruits finally, and it's a big week. It's a big week.
It's a very big week, and I know, Kevin, you've had a very big day today. Would you like to speak to that at all?
Well, yeah, sure. So, Zig, who has been my mentor for so many years and helped me in the early days of getting a mind shift change from high school into college. I got a big business started in college and went to $1 million a year. And then, and while I'm still in school, and then his book, Secrets of Closing the Sale, rocketed me in the infomercial business right to the top, and just unbelievable passion that I've had for that man, Zig Ziglar. Now, so as we have moved forward, we, myself and a group of us with the family, including yourself, have done this venture with the family to take the assets and bring them back to the future. It's sort of like, hey, Zig died a few years ago,
right?
And 4.5 million people came to his Facebook page, but that just shows how powerful the interest is in Zig Ziglar. And so now here we are launching this week the master class that's going to take all of the best techniques. He had some classes that had only been seen by literally the cameramen and a handful of people that were found in the vaults that are being released through this master class, digitally remastered. And then I come in and I bumper all of these shows and make introductions and give my tidbits on it along the way. It's just unbelievable looking footage and an opportunity for people to be viewing this on a daily basis. The content that we've created
it's amazing.
Is amazing. And so we're using affiliates to help us get the word out, right?
Right.
And we have about 1,000 affiliates in the system. And so each affiliate has anywhere from maybe a small one, just a handful of people, 25, 50, 100.
Right.
But then the big ones have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and some even millions of people that are following them. And so so what we're doing and what we started doing today was I was doing Facebook Lives with all these affiliates. We're doing one every 20 minutes all day long. So that's 3 an hour. Do the math times the number of hours. We did a few. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So all of you out there, go ahead and why don't you like or share if you think that Zig's message of hope and encouragement is more important and relevant now than ever before. Go ahead and just hit like or love. We want to see people get excited and engaged. And don't forget to show Kevin some love, too. Kevin's really been working very hard. Kevin, you probably haven't worked this hard since you were sealing driveways in high school. You've really been hitting it pretty hard. I'm amazed.
Thank you. It reminds me of knocking on doors back in the day, But, it's, to be honest with you, I don't keep track of any of it because it's a job that just got to get done. And we, on the front end, we understood what it was going to take. We agreed to do it. And it's just one of those things. You just gotta plug through it and get it done. And knowing that the benefits that come out of it, all the people that we're going to be hearing from with their massive stories and undertakings and success and their testimonials, it's just going to be awesome. I'm so excited. And
well, that's a great point, Kevin, because I was thinking the other night as we're going through all of this stuff and we're working late nights and early mornings, and we really just sat down as a team here at Ziglar and said, kind of in a sober way, that people's lives are going to be changed by getting involved in what's happening here. I mean, when you start speaking into Kevin, when you, Kevin, start speaking into people's lives, just like Zig did, as a mentor, as an encourager, as a coach, I mean, people that really take and buy these ideas and apply them, their lives are going to change. And I think that's really just an incredible thing to think about.
Well, for me, I've been I've been in the Ascena TV and commercial business now for 34 years, and when I've made hundreds of millionaires over that time,
Wow.
and so I had a guy working for me that did so well. He ended up starting his own business to provide services, and then after a while, it was doing so well, he went out and bought himself an 18,000 square foot house. Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, like, dude, that's pretty impressive. Like, I knew you were doing well, but I didn't know quite that well. But, so, and it's just, it's unbelievable. So, one of my other employees built a $1 billion company called Beachbody.
Wow.
And he left with great vim and vigor. And, because I love charging up entrepreneurs.
Right.
I have always been a starting point and a leaping ground for entrepreneurs to take their ideas to the next step. And you know what? I one side of me, when it happens, when I lose someone very talented, I don't like to see them go.
Right.
But it's when I know that it's time, when I know if I were them, I would do it. I actually, give them a nice pat on the back and wish them good luck.
Well, I think, Kevin, that ties right into the core secret of the masterclass, and of course, one of Zig's most powerful and profound quotes and philosophies. And that is, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. And the thing that has been such a joy in working with you is to see that your whole career, your time on Shark Tank, your time on As Seen on TV, all of these things that you've done has really been to help people get what they want and be that sort of leaping ground for entrepreneurs. So it's just such a great fit. And speaking of Shark Tank, I have a 6-year-old son, and he loves sharks. He's like obsessed with sharks right now. He's talking about them all the time and all the facts and everything. And so I know that some people may have been saying, partnering with a shark, that seems kind of weird for Ziglar. But as my son will say, there's all kinds of different sharks, right? And so, I'd love to hear you say why you think this is such a great fit, Kevin.
Well, that's a very good question. And so, yeah, I mean, first of all, if you look at Shark Tank, there's obviously Mr. Wonderful in the middle, okay? And I always like to ask the question, do you know why he calls himself Mr. Wonderful? Well, because nobody else will, okay? All right? Now, that's bad, Kevin. Then they called me the good Kevin. So, I mean, I started a co-founder of the Young Entrepreneurs Organization. Now, am I going to come into that organization and tell all the entrepreneurs, what idiots they are or anything like that?
No.
Absolutely not. The whole point of this organization was camaraderie and respect and helping. And so, and then it became EO, and EO is now all around the world in 150 cities, 45 countries. So I built my business on respect and pride and camaraderie with companies. Even when I'm putting up all the money and licensing it, I still put my partner on a pedestal and expect them to, do the right things that, in terms of their brand, et cetera. But the bottom line is the tag team that we've created here is perfect because Ziglar's group, and that's yourself and Tom, Julie, Cindy, the assets that exist and that you guys have been part of creating for all these years, 31 books, thousands of hours of
Absolutely.
tapes.
Yeah, definitely.
And 36 languages is unsurpassed. And then from our side, I'm a marketing guy. Like the funny thing is, of all the 500 products that I sold on TV, I didn't own any of them. I licensed them. Okay? Because I pride myself on being a good marketing partner with those that have the best of the best products in their arena. So that's why this deal makes so much sense. I am a marketing team that can hook the Ziegler assets all around the world. We're going to be in Brazil this weekend. I mean,
It's amazing.
Friday.
I think Zig would be so proud of what we're
Yeah.
doing here.
You know, and by the way, 3,000 people have paid a ticket to come see us at the World Trade Center and hear the story about me and Zig Ziglar.
Oh,
and
that's
so,
amazing.
I mean, it's fabulous. We're excited about it, and then we're going to do this all around the world. So we have a global business opportunity here, and it's all built on one of the greatest sales masters that ever lived.
That's
taught
right.
me all the things that I knew in sales, used his techniques in infomercials, using them now in the latest and greatest in digital marketing. And I just have to say that it's such an honor for me to be involved with the family, to be able to be one of the people carrying that baton to the next level. And I greatly look forward to working with yourself hand in hand, Evan, as we build this business out from here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's been tremendous. It's going to continue to be tremendous. And of course, everything is selling, right? And that's one of the key things that we talk about here in the masterclass. And for those of you that are watching, if you think that everything is selling on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd love to hear if you agree with that. If you agree with that premise that everything is selling on a scale of 1 to 10, go ahead and put it in the comments because I'd love to see. But one of the things that I'm curious about, I've seen you on Facebook today, and I'm in my car. I listen to Zig in the cassette tape days. Now, I mean, some of you watching live on Facebook may be wondering, well, what is a cassette tape? But we've got some vinyl albums here too that with Zig's picture on it. It's amazing. But as I was listening to it, one of the things that people may think about is, well, I'm not in sales, or these things don't apply to me because I'm either in XYZ business or in this territory. I grew up in Maine. And so it's kind of a really fascinating for me to think about, well, here in Dallas, people may be saying, well, that doesn't work in Maine because you're in Dallas, or vice versa. And so I guess I'm just curious, all the experience you've had around the world and in various industries, Kevin, are these philosophies universal or are they really specific?
So yeah, I mean, this is the thing. When we would take a show, the Ginsu knife, the Tony Little fitness, and we would take it into international markets. At first, they said, we don't like the American way of selling. Number two, you've got to find a local Tony Little to do this show because he'll do it in the local language. And we said, but we can just dub the shows and run them in the local language. They said, no, you need to find the local Tony Little and reproduce these. Okay. So we said, okay, look, we'll go look for a local Tony Little. We'll shoot that, put it up, but then we'll compare Tony Little dubbed, the English show dubbed in your language, or
okay.
or the local, and let's compare. So they'd run the local show, it would get 100 orders. They'd run the Tony Little show with the dubbing in it, and it would get 1,000 orders. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. And we would show them just flat out. We were 10x their
That's amazing.
local show. So yeah, I was in Brazil a few months ago, and a guy walks up to me and he didn't even know anything about Zig Ziglar. We were talking. It was my birthday. It was my party. We get talking. He hands me a card that says Dale Carnegie on it. And we get talking, and he runs the Dale Carnegie franchise in Brazil.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so I said, so are you familiar with Zig Ziglar? He said, Zig Ziglar. He said, are you kidding me? He says, I have 20 of his tapes dubbed in Portuguese on my desk in my office.
Wow.
And I listen to them. So yeah, when we go to Brazil, they're going to be wearing headsets as we talk to them. It's being translated.
Amazing.
So, I mean, yes, this is global. This selling is universal.
That's right.
We say everything is sales. A mother has to sell her children on eating vegetables. Well, maybe they're selling their children on eating borscht over in, wherever.
It's all selling, right?
You know what I mean? It's like whatever it is, they can use these amazing tips, young, old, every age, female, male. It's an amazing program. And they get a lot of my tips. I'm giving them 3 bonuses, by the way. How to do the perfect pitch. That's the first one. 10 steps to a perfect pitch. The second one is 12 steps to a perfect business plan. Both of these can be used to raise money.
Wow.
And then the third one is 7 steps to become a key person of influence, which is very powerful also.
That's a fantastic book.
Yeah.
I read it on the plane when I was coming back from when I saw you last.
Thank you. So we are really loaded for bear, and I think we've got a great. I found some unbelievable footage. We've got holograms of Zig coming out. So
that's amazing.
It's exciting. Really, really good.
Kevin, do you have time for one more question?
I do.
All right. So in the last answer, you said something about 10x, and I really I love in the course. I've seen a lot of stuff about 100x, and the thing that really captivates me. And by the way, for those of you that are watching, if you'd love to 100x your sales, go ahead and put 100x in the comments, because I'd love to see. Maybe it's just me that wants to 100x, Kevin, but we'll see if everybody else does too. But
yeah.
One of the things is that, it's easy to say, well, that's Kevin Harrington, right? I mean, he could say 100x. I mean, that's not for me. But one of my most powerful, I think, quotes from Zig is really almost 2 in 1. And that is, you are who you are where you are because of what you put into your mind. And you can change who you are and change where you are by changing what goes into your mind.
Right.
And in spending time with you, really the thing that's been fascinating to me is 100x is simply a mindset. Yeah. And I think it's something that anybody can learn. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. I've proven it over and over again. I've taken timid salespeople that said, I grabbed a kid out of college that I said, look, I need some help on selling these air conditioning systems. He says, I don't know how to sell. I said, I'll teach you how to sell. I know you know how to sell because I've seen you pitch the girls on the campus and talk to your teacher about getting a better grade. I said, you're a salesman, okay? So I'll teach you how to do it professionally. And this kid he came out and hung with me for like 3 or 4 visits in the home, and then he went out on his own. He became our rock star. He was selling 5 a week. Then he graduated college. He went on to become a huge hitter for the Revlon Corporation, and now he does $250 million a year in a wholesale distribution business out of Detroit. But
that's amazing.
I could give you dozens of stories like that. But no, look, Zig made how many thousands of millionaires, didn't he?
Absolutely.
So I know we made tons, and I made I think possibly a couple billionaires along the way too. But the bottom line is, I started using these systems and techniques back before even 1984, so I've had access to them for quite a while. Give me a leg up, but now is the time to start.
That's right.
And one of my books was called Act Now. If you haven't started, you must act now, because if you don't, you put it off. You're putting off your future. You're putting off your ability to have a successful business, a successful life, a successful sales job, whatever it might be.
Right.
And now I can use that 100x term. If you truly follow our systems, you can 100x anything that you're doing currently. We've got the power. We've got the dream team in place now to make this happen.
Well, I tell you, it's amazing for me. I'm taking the course. I wanted 100x, and so this is when I think back to Zig's quote and Zig being a mentor, and then of course to have the opportunity to have you as a mentor, I don't see how you could possibly not want to participate in that if you're in any way serious about your career and your future. I know I personally invested tens of thousands of dollars in coaching and mentorship and personal development in my own career. And the amount of value that's being put into this course is really second to none. And of course, the quality is something that both Ziglar and Harrington brands are just absolutely 100% proud to put their names on and stand by 100%. So again, if you want a 100x, again, put 100x. If you want a 10x, we'll help you with that too. That's no problem. But Kevin, of course, I just want to say one last thing. One of my favorite secrets of closing the sale from Zig Ziglar was to think of myself as an assistant buyer. So he taught me that if the prospect has a problem, and my job is to not sit across the table from them, but to come around the table with them and help them to solve their problem. Can you speak to any other secrets or tips that maybe people can get a little glimpse of as we wrap up here?
Yeah, I'll give you one of my favorites. So I was this is going back 24 years ago. Um, I was a very young entrepreneur, and I was on a plane on the way over to Saudi Arabia,
Wow.
Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and I was meeting with Sheikh Salah Kamel, the largest media sheikh. He was a multi-billionaire, lived in a $40 million house, and so my goal was to go over there and sell him on doing business with me because I had some shows that I was trying to get him to put on the air. So I was so intimidated and I was so shaken in my boots as I was flying over there, writing up the
Right.
presentation. How am I going to start? What happens if he says this and what that? I had all
Right.
these contingencies and it wasn't looking good. And I was just like he controlled the cards because I was also asking him for investment. But then I was reading Zig's book and I got to the one, and sometimes you don't even know which close it might be till you read it and think maybe
Right.
this will
Right.
work. It was called the fear of loss. Okay. So, and I said, okay, well, wait a minute. I've talked to this guy's competitor. So I'm going to walk in and tell him I'm here really to qualify him because I've talked to his competitor already. And I want to know, how does he compare to his competitor? So I
Right.
walk in the door, I'm standing there in front of him before I even sit down. I'm like, hey, now, Mr. Sheikh, before I sit down, it's full disclosure. I do need to let you know that I have had some conversations with your competitor just to lay the cards on the table. And then right away, he grabs the chair. Sit down, please. I have to tell you why we are so much better. And then he brought in this guy and this guy to tell me why they could do a so much better job. Now, it turned completely around. I wasn't doing any selling. I was listening and qualifying. He took me out on this huge boat that night.
He's selling you, Kevin.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
So he is selling me.
That's
and so
awesome.
inside, I couldn't chuckle on the outside. I was chuckling on the inside. And I'm saying this was the most amazing about face. I was solving his problem and telling him that, the fear of loss he was unbelievably shaken by that. So,
Wow.
And then at the very end of all of it, he said, and in addition to doing the deal, I'll put up the $25 million to fund the deal, and it's done. And we actually signed a piece of paper. This guy would not let me leave the country without an executed letter of intent, and it included him financing the business, giving us all of his airtime, et cetera, et cetera. It was the most historic probably deal I ever did, and it all started with the fear of loss close. So
that's amazing.
It could have been totally different, but that ended up being tens of millions of dollars in business. It was huge, and it was an amazing end result when we built the business, made it happen, very successful. So we've got dozens of stories like this, Evan, as you well know, throughout the course. So anybody, that's the funny thing. Zig loves to tell great stories. I love to tell great stories. It's just packed full of stories and closing techniques. You will gain so much. And if there's 50 closes in there, there's just think you only need one or two or three or four some days, and then go on to the next chapters the next week. You don't have to read it all the very first time you get it all. So anyway, it's going to be very powerful. And anybody out there, I guarantee they're going to love it. Plus, there's $32,000 in value in this package. They get private meetings with me and lunches and all kinds of stuff.
Community access. I mean, it really is amazing.
Absolutely. So thank you for having me tonight, Evan. And I'm going to see you. I got a flight at 6 a.m. in the morning. I'll be in Dallas early. So I'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
That sounds great. Well, thank you, Kevin. On behalf of the Ziegler family, everyone here at headquarters, it's an honor. And I heard Zig say, ability can get you to the top, but character keeps you there. And Kevin, you've been at the top for a long time, and we really appreciate you. Thank
You,
you.
buddy. You're amazing. 2 thumbs up, one for you, Evan, and one for the rest of the crew there. Okay.
Sounds good. We'll see you
All
tomorrow.
right. Okay,
Take
buddy.
care.
Take care. Bye.